Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, I'll be walking you through MMX Labs and how it works. At MMX, there are two key things we need to clearly understand. First, if we want to generate significant wealth, we need to recognize that cryptocurrency can be the answer. However, for a coin's price to actually increase, three essential conditions must be met. The first is having a mainnet. The second is a unique and competitive technology ecosystem. And the third is strong liquidity along with effective market making. From a simple perspective, a coin's price can be understood as a function of supply and liquidity. If the total supply is reduced through mechanisms such as token burns and other policies, while liquidity continues to grow, this creates a deflationary structure that can drive the price upward. This is exactly the kind of structure that LQC is designed to build. Secondly, in order to generate stable and sustainable income, long-term marketing is the key. MMX is designed as a global marketing model targeting over 500 billion KRW in scale, and it is built to operate over a period of more than 3 years. Let me briefly give you an overview of the company. MMX is a professional market maker operating across major cryptocurrency exchanges worldwide. The company provides execution-based liquidity solutions, meaning it actively delivers real, working liquidity to the market. Between 2018 and 2021, a large number of crypto projects emerged globally. However, many of those projects are now facing the risk of delisting. As a result, there is an urgent need for liquidity provision and professional market making. MMX addresses this need by working directly with project foundations, taking on the role of supplying liquidity and stabilizing the market. In this sense, MMX acts as a global network that helps revive and sustain struggling projects. This is not about simple price pumping. Instead, the company utilizes big data algorithms and high-frequency trading strategies to design and manage liquidity in a structured and sustainable way. Let's first take a moment to clearly understand the concepts of liquidity and market making. Liquidity provision, simply put, means ensuring that there is enough capital available in advance so that trades can be executed immediately. Market making, on the other hand, is a strategy where both buy and sell prices are continuously quoted to maintain a stable and efficient market. In essence, liquidity provision is about supplying capital. Market making also involves capital, but it goes further by including price management, market operations, and inventory control. Liquidity provision helps facilitate smooth trading. When there is sufficient capital in the market, both buyers and sellers can execute transactions instantly. Market making focuses on maintaining the spread and stabilizing the market through active participation. For liquidity provision, the most critical factor is capital. For market making, capital is important, but it also requires advanced algorithms and risk management to operate effectively. Liquidity provision does not always require direct intervention in the market, whereas market making actively engages in the market by adjusting spreads and managing price dynamics. Therefore, it is helpful to understand that liquidity provision is a broader concept, while market making is a more active and strategic execution within that framework. We can clearly understand the difference in the market when liquidity and market making are present versus when they are not. For example, let's say I want to place a market order to buy 1 billion KRW worth of a coin at a price of 1,000 KRW. On the left side, where there is no proper liquidity or market making, the order book is sparse and prices are widely spread out. On the right side, however, prices are tightly structured, and there is sufficient liquidity in the market. In the left scenario, if I try to buy 1 billion KRW worth at market price, I won't be able to buy at 1,000 KRW. Instead, the order gets filled progressively at higher prices, going up to around 1,060 KRW. This results in approximately 6% slippage. On the other hand, in the right scenario, the entire order can be executed at around 1,001 KRW. That means the slippage is only about 0.1%. In other words, in a low liquidity market, a single large order can significantly move the price. but in a well-supported market, the liquidity is strong enough to absorb the order without major price impact. This clearly shows why liquidity provision and market making are extremely important in any market. The company is a multinational corporation with a presence in the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom. As you can see, these are the key locations where the company operates. Our core businesses include providing liquidity to global cryptocurrency exchanges, as well as making equity investments in digital asset companies. In addition, we invest in blockchain startups based in Silicon Valley and Bangalore. Liquidity provision is the company's primary business focus. Starting with LQC as our lead project, we are also preparing to launch approximately 10 additional projects in the future. This is why market stability and liquidity are absolutely critical. Market making and liquidity provide both exchanges and investors with price stability and trust, helping to create a fair and efficient market structure. They also enable an active trading environment, where investors can buy and sell at any time without friction. And naturally, this leads to an increase in users. Ultimately, liquidity and market making act as a powerful engine that strengthens both the credibility and trading volume of an exchange. This is the business model of MMX. The company allocates approximately 70% of its operating capital to market-making activities. Around 20% is allocated to providing liquidity for decentralized exchanges, and the remaining 10% is invested in promising startup companies, as mentioned earlier. This is how the company manages and operates its overall capital structure. Now, let me highlight the key features of our business. We operate a global, multi-exchange market-making network. Currently, more than 15 teams are actively managing and operating market-making strategies. We are also building an investment infrastructure based on ETFs and real-world assets. In addition, we utilize an SPC structure to enhance investment stability. Through various strategic partnerships, we are continuously expanding on a global scale. At the center of all these activities is our LQC coin, which serves as the core hub of the entire ecosystem. Now, let's take a moment to better understand what LQC is as a coin. The easiest way to understand it is by comparing it with XRP. So, let's look at a comparison between Ripple and LQC. Ripple is a coin developed by Ripple Labs. On the other hand, LQC is a coin developed by our company, MMX Labs. Ripple is primarily designed to provide liquidity for international payments and remittances. In contrast, LQC is designed to provide liquidity across cryptocurrency exchanges. Ripple already has its mainnet fully deployed, and LQC is also preparing to launch its mainnet soon. Ripple is actively used in real-world payment transactions, while LQC is designed to be used in real liquidity provision between exchanges. In the case of Ripple, transaction fees within the network are continuously burned, which reduces the total supply over time. At the same time, liquidity is provided, creating a natural deflationary mechanism that can support price growth. LQC follows a similar structure. Fees generated through liquidity provision are burned, strengthening its deflationary model. Additionally, network fees are designed to contribute to the overall revenue structure. The key difference is this. Ripple functions as a bridge currency used by financial institutions, whereas LQC is a liquidity provision platform token designed for exchange ecosystems. This is the fundamental distinction between the two. Now, let's take a look at this visually. This is how it works. As you can see in global money transfers, XRP is designed to simplify the process. In the current international remittance system, funds typically move from the sender to the sender's bank, then through intermediary banks to the receiving bank, and finally to the recipient. The goal here is to reduce these multiple steps. While it may appear to go through just a few stages, in reality, the number of intermediary steps can increase depending on the situation. As a result, both transaction time and fees continue to grow. This is exactly the problem that Ripple aims to solve. This is the kind of transformation Ripple is aiming for. By using XRP as a unified source of global liquidity, there's no longer a need to go through multiple intermediaries. Instead, transactions can be executed directly in a single step. This leads to increased capital efficiency, faster transaction times, and significantly lower fees. This is the core idea behind Ripple, and the reason why it was created. You can understand LQC in a very similar way. In the same way, LQC is designed to enable direct liquidity provision between exchanges. Through LQC, liquidity can be supplied instantly and efficiently without unnecessary intermediaries. In other words, LQC is both a coin and a platform built to streamline and optimize liquidity across exchanges. It is a highly efficient and scalable solution. That's the core concept. Now, let's summarize the key points. LQC is a coin designed to build liquidity provision and market-making infrastructure. The company's role is to facilitate smooth trading in the market, and in return, generate revenue. This includes spread profits from market making, as well as rebates from exchanges based on trading volume. In addition, the company also earns contract fees from projects that request liquidity in market-making services. Looking at the fund flow, projects pay LQC in cash or USDT as part of service agreements, and LQC then provides liquidity to the market. Alongside this, through market-making activities, the company receives rebates from exchanges and generates additional income through spreads. As a result, this creates a continuous and structured revenue model. The higher the trading volume, the more revenue the company generates. At the same time, the price of the LQC coin is driven by token burns and a steady increase in liquidity, creating a strong deflationary mechanism. In this structure, the coin is designed in a way that supports continuous price growth over time. There are many major coins in the market today. Let's take a moment to compare some of them. Coins like XRP, Solana, Ethereum, and BNB have all established their own ecosystems. If we look at their performance, many of these mainnet coins have achieved significant growth compared to their initial prices. For example, Ripple increased by around 630 times, and Ethereum saw growth of up to 15,700 times. Even Polkadot, which shows the lowest growth among them, still achieved approximately 183 times increase. Now, LQC is also preparing to launch its mainnet, and it is expected to go through a similar growth phase. The key question is, how much growth potential LQC could achieve moving forward? It is certainly something we can look forward to. If you look at it on a graph, this is what it typically looks like. The overall slope of these growth curves tend to be quite similar. I've illustrated LQC with a slightly more gradual curve in light blue. But if LQC follows a similar trajectory, it could achieve growth beyond what we might expect. The reason is that these major mainnet coins share three key characteristics. First, they all have their own mainnet. Second, each has a unique and independent ecosystem. And third, they all maintain strong and abundant liquidity. These three factors are the common foundation behind their growth. LQC is also preparing to launch its mainnet, and it already has a unique ecosystem centered around liquidity provision. In addition, the company brings strong expertise in liquidity and market making. With all these elements combined, LQC is positioned to potentially achieve significant price growth. Now, let's take a look at our marketing bonus plan. First, this is the primary bonus structure. The rates vary depending on the investment range, from $0 to $1,000. The return is 0.4% per day. From $1,000 to $3,000, it increases to 0.5%. And from $3,000 to $5,000, it becomes 0.6% per day. The daily earnings are currently distributed in a 60-40 ratio, with 60% paid in USDT and 40% in LQC. All earnings are capped at a total of 300%. This distribution ratio may change over time, depending on the price of LQC. In the future, the portion paid in LQC is expected to gradually decrease. Next, we have the daily matching bonus. The first level offers a 30% bonus, and the second level provides 10%. To qualify for the first level, you need at least 3 direct referrals. To qualify for the second level, you need a total of 5 referrals. Another important component is the ranking bonus. There are up to 9 ranking levels, and as you move up the ranks, you can earn significantly higher commission shares. At the highest level, the commission can reach up to 70%. As the project continues over the next 3 years, higher ranking levels are expected to be unlocked gradually. This could potentially lead to substantial earnings opportunities. Currently, MMX is gaining strong traction globally, with a growing number of international leaders joining the network. This is a project that is expanding rapidly on a global scale, and it presents a significant opportunity for early participants. In the past, many successful marketing-driven projects achieved massive growth through global expansion, not just within a single country. When combined with token price appreciation, these projects delivered extraordinary returns. Similarly, through LQC and MMX, there is strong potential to achieve meaningful results in this market. Now, let me walk you through how the bonus plan works. Our marketing bonus structure is based on a strong leg and a weak leg. One side represents your major volume line, while the other side combines the remaining volume as your weaker leg. Let's take rank 5 as an example. To qualify, your personal investment needs to be $5,000, and your weaker leg volume should reach $500,000. At this level, your daily return would be around $30, based on a 0.6% daily rate. However, because of the rank bonus, you can earn over $500 per day from ranking commissions alone. That brings your total monthly income to approximately $16,000. All LQC rewards can be converted into USDT in real time, meaning they can be liquidated into cash at any time. However, if you understand the long-term vision of LQC, accumulating the token could potentially be a more strategic approach. For example, out of $1,000 in rewards, about 40%, or $400, would be received in LQC under the current 60:40 structure. If LQC were to increase in value by 10x, 20x, 100x, or more, the potential returns could become significantly larger. This is why it's not just about having strong technology. For a coin to sustain long-term price growth, it needs a combination of a mainnet, strong and consistent liquidity, a well-developed ecosystem, and effective market making. For example, if we look at rank 3, using a similar calculation, it is possible to generate over $4,000 in monthly income. That alone is already a solid level of earnings. And if we also factor in the potential price growth of LQC, the overall returns could exceed our expectations. In addition, there is a second bonus component. The company offers a weekly lucky draw system, which works similarly to a lottery based on matching performance. This will be implemented in collaboration with our partners in the near future. Another benefit currently in place is the monthly airdrop. Each month, participants can receive 1 or up to 2 different tokens through airdrops. These tokens are directly related to what the company does best: liquidity provision and market making. Before engaging in market making activities for these projects, the company distributes these tokens to its members. In most cases, these tokens are already listed on exchanges, which means they can be converted into cash immediately. As a result, members can receive 1 or 2 such tokens almost every month. And depending on market conditions, these airdrop tokens can also provide additional value over time. This is how additional value can be generated. So far, we have already received the first airdrop, and the second airdrop will be distributed soon. Each airdrop involves a different token. For example, the first token we received was called Handy, which was already listed on the MMX exchange at the time. We received this airdrop on February 13th, and at that time, the price was relatively low, as shown on the screen. However, about 2 weeks later, around early March, the price had increased to more than double compared to the initial airdrop value. This demonstrates how the company operates. Before starting market making for a project, the company distributes tokens to its users in advance through airdrops. This can be considered an additional bonus. As a result, beyond the primary bonus structure, participants can generate extra returns through these airdrop tokens as well. Now, let's move on to the third bonus plan. This is also a very important component. In this structure, for every $100 of registered sales, you receive 1 to 2 units of mining hash power. This hash power generates mining rewards over a period of 3 years. During those 3 years, you can mine a total of 8 different cryptocurrencies, including Litecoin, Dogecoin, Pepe, Shiba, and others. Once these mined coins are accumulated, they can later be converted into cash through the company's partner exchange, CoinEx, with no transaction fees. This creates the potential to recover your initial capital, or even generate additional profit beyond it. Another key point is that the system operates on a 300% cycle. Every time a new cycle begins and additional sales are generated, new mining hash power is issued again. This means the mining rewards continue to accumulate over time. As a result, this can become a significant additional source of income. In other words, this third mining component is designed not only as an extra reward, but also as a mechanism to help reduce potential risk, while creating additional upside opportunities within the overall model. 2026 is set to be a monumental year for our company. First and foremost, we are currently preparing for our second major project. As early as May, we will launch a critically important DAO project called LQC within the LDAO ecosystem. Through this project, our powerful global community will come together to generate significant new revenue streams. You can certainly look forward to great things. In addition, we are targeting a Binance listing for LQC within this year. We believe this is a fully achievable goal. Furthermore, LQC is already scheduled to be listed on 2 major global exchanges as early as May. We will be sharing more details on those specific announcements very soon. We are also consistently expanding our network of strategic partners. To give you a better idea of how our Gold Fund and partner ecosystem work, they are essentially designed to help you scale the earnings you've already made from LQC. By reallocating those profits into our partner services, such as the Gold Fund, card platforms, futures trading, or gaming, you can maximize your returns through a compounding effect. From these partnerships, the company secures rebates, which we then feed back into our weekly bonus pool to share the wealth with all of you. Currently, this includes the Gold Fund and our card services. Speaking of cards, we're about to add 2 or 3 more providers, which will bridge the gap between crypto and everyday fiat currency. On top of that, major exchanges worldwide are now integrating with our LQC and MMX ecosystems. Ultimately, the company generates external revenue and brings it back into our platform to share with our users. As users reinvest those shares, it creates a virtuous cycle, a sustainable loop of growth that benefits everyone in our community. I've just given you a brief overview of our MMX and LQC ecosystems. I highly encourage you to look into the details more closely. I'll provide a link to our official site, where you can study the materials in your own language at your convenience. As we wrap up, I want you to remember 2 key things. First, to build significant wealth, the coin itself is what matters most. Please take the time to see how we at MMX are designing and strategizing the future of this token. Second, for consistent and stable long-term income, a sustainable marketing project is the answer. That is exactly what our MMX marketing project is all about. I hope you'll stay closely tuned to our journey. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to everyone who has joined us in this project. Thank you. This concludes our overview of the MMX ecosystem. Thank you for your time.